All right, back again. So, as we have talked about in the past, I want to reframe the idea of discovering the latent power inside of you, understanding that there is so much personality, so much energy, so many different stimuli that you have absorbed within your various environments. And now, whatever is the true character that you want to build within yourself is laying dormant. And so when you can discover this concealed personality, this untapped potential, you are able to negate any arbitrary rules that are holding you back and allow yourself to succeed in any sort of environment, regardless of your experience, regardless of your diverse background, because now you are not playing by the rules. And maybe the rules of society will tell you that you have to follow a certain protocol in order to achieve success, in order to achieve a position in which you can grow and elevate yourself into whatever vision you may have for yourself. And now, of course, society will discern these boxes in which you must fulfill, you must jump through certain hoops, you must use certain type of language, and in order to succeed in society, you need to become this robot that we have determined is the perfect character for the perfect role that you see yourself within. And so when you can step out of those boxes and recognize that you are something else, you are something powerful, and discern your own rules, because rules are meant to be broken. And of course we do have rules because we do need some order in society. We have these systems in place, and yes, there is balance, but at the same time, being able to move through the variances and understanding that whatever behaviors you have incurred in the past and whatever you feel in your head is holding you back, that is your imagination. And now if you project your future self into society, into the world, into the people around you, that projection is going to become your reality. And you are going to achieve anything you want. And so when you can move past those perceived flaws that you have incurred over time, then others will be able to do so as well, because now you have not only given yourself permission to let go of being in this confined box that is inhibiting your growth and putting yourself under these glass ceilings, but now you've given others permission to allow yourself the freedom to take up space, to move, to really just become the paragon of whatever it is you feel you need to become. And so when you slowly deteriorate these ideas within yourself, and maybe that is going to require some self-talk, maybe that is going to require putting yourself in those circumstances, and maybe even being vulnerable with others, being upfront and accepting that this is where you are and this is where you want to be. And although life is not perfect for most people, you have this comprehensive background of random skills and knowledge that just need to be put together. Everything is kind of fragmented, and you are just slowly integrating it into this comprehensive magnetism that is going to make you an unstoppable being. And now when you realize that this is your power, this is your worth. And it's nothing to be conceited about, because everyone has this power. Everyone has self-worth. And now the people who recognize it are the people who are moving forward. And yes, we all have gone through our pasts that have been filled with fire, filled with torment, and have alluded to various negativities that might impair, that might blemish your ability to create the perfect persona that others are looking for. And now being able to be upfront about that hey, no human is perfect. Life is how it is. People are going to either be with you or be against you. And the people who are with you are going to be able to help you bring out the shine that is truly your nature. And of course, it's going to be a win-win benefit, because when those people allow you the environment, the mentorship, the ability to just create and experiment, but at the same time doing so with grace and humility, and allowing others the space to also feel empowered in this environment where you are not only rising, but you understand that every single role within an organism, within a small organism, which our body is, or a large macrocosm of an organism, which is the earth, every single role, they matter. And so when you understand that nothing you do is going to undermine your success, because there will be people for you, there will be people not for you, and now it's just a matter of your internal dialogue and telling yourself that you are a very capable being, because of course you are, of course every human is, and of course we all have the experiences that make us feel like we're going to falter, and we're having this impression that we have, imposter syndrome. These sorts of negative dialogues within your brain are not helpful. And so once you can get past that and you realize that, no, I'm going to step into my power. And not only that, but I'm going to be in an environment within this larger organism that I can help other people become empowered. Because it's actually quite unbelievable how many people on this planet are so insecure. And yes, we put this image out that, oh yeah, we're this, we're that, we're experts in our field. Come join me because I'm going to help you do this, or I have the skills to help you do that. Yes, we can all praise ourselves and put ourselves out there. And now it just comes down to the fact that what kind of clay are you? Are you going to be clay that is moldable, or are you already molded and you're looking for some refinement, or really just, how do you want to be in this world? And so when you can accumulate all of these experiences over time and understand that there has been a lot that has transpired during your day, during the last years, and none of this really matters, because what matters now is how do you show up? And of course, Alan Watts again once has said, we are not obligated to be the person we were 5 minutes ago. And so you have the ability to use your elastic brain and tell yourself that now you are going to represent the trope of someone who is unstoppable, of a champion, of someone who gives credence to the ideas of innovation, and really just it lends you, your personal presence, it lends credence to the opinions of innovation, of creativity, of joy, wonder, empowerment, and really just helping others move through this difficulty, because you are not the only one in the spotlight. Other people, they are not watching you. They are watching themselves. Everyone is insecure about themselves. And so when you can understand that this is a pain point for many people, and so yes, there will be people who are more sure of themselves, and then you have to just dig a little bit deeper, because there is still something within themselves that they are working on, that they are learning to let go of, that has some trigger, that has some hold on themselves. And so when you're able to permeate into their psyche and have the kind of empathy that allows you to respect and admire and understand their growth, that they have this impending mindset of open-mindedness, of growth, of a growth mindset. It's imminent, but they simply are clouded, and those clouds are things that if you give them space and you recognize them and you help let go of them by either accepting them as how they are, or just providing them encouragement that they are perfect the way they are, that they are growing just like you, just like every human in this planet. And so there is no right or wrong. And so really just having these conversations that might even become rampant, because now you are repeating this over and over again, because in order to really tell the brain, you need to be repetitive. You need to supply it with these positive notions, with provisions that it can draw onto. And so when you have come to a place in yourself internally that you understand that you are perfect, and the people who accept you, the people who will work with you, and the people who you will inspire, that you will lead, those are the people who are going to rise with you, because you have come to a point in your life where those kinds of situations, those fires, they were all put out, and now you can only dance in the rain, because the rain kept going. And so there was nothing else to do but just enjoy being in the rain. The rain was the blessings. And so now you've turned everything into this positive light, and these provisions are now things that you can draw on in your mind. And no, not everyone has had the opportunity to be showered in rain 24/7. And so when you realize that you actually have been living this incredible blessing, that the world is showering you with so much hardship, so much tribulation, that you have no choice but to continue to grow, to continue to evolve, and bring every single person with you, because now you are so strong that there's no need to show off. There's no need to portray this image of yourself that, hey, look at me, I'm an expert, I'm gonna do this and that and help you, because we are all energy. We are movement. We are the subtle nature of being, of essence. And so when we can understand that words mean nothing and energy is everything, and so when we move through that energy and we allow ourselves to perpetuate this mindset that has accumulated the wealth of positivity, then life is just easy. And so when you allow not only yourself, the ability to do so, but you give space, you give permission to those around you, you empower them, you maybe show them different things that have worked for you, that you see have worked for others. Really just being someone who serves humanity without expectations of return, and knowing that if you invest into humanity, humanity is going to invest into you as well. And so now, because yes, you do need to use some discretion in where you are investing, because I mean, there are some places where your ROI is just going to be dismal, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be kind to everyone around you. You should definitely value your time, because of course, time is money, time is everything. We cannot get back our time, and once we have our time lost, we are essentially just being in the moment and just observing and letting life pass us by and losing the moments to take initiative and make a difference, bypassing the ability to put ourselves out there, try new things. Because if we forgo time, then we forgo everything in life. And so, of course, you have to use discretion, but at the same time, don't allow that to hinder your ability. Don't allow that to close your heart and not give yourself the freedom to just be, to just unequivocally give to the world, because that kind of personality, that growth in humanity is something that we need, because now we have moved into this capitalistic society and we have now become more individualistic than ever before, and because of this now people are cheating each other, and you know, it's just, where is the community, where is the camaraderie? At some point we need to give to each other. And so if we continue on this trajectory where we are just going to take advantage and, you know, unravel ourselves into this persona that is not discerning, and I don't know. Anyway, point is, whatever you want for your life, you need to phase it in and phase out the personas, the characteristics, the behaviors that are not serving you, that are not serving humanity, that are not win-win solutions. Because, I mean, in essence, altruism is actually a selfish act, because the more you give, the more you get. And so, yes, we can give with the intention that we're going to receive, and we build this transactional relationship, or we can give with the understanding that we will receive in abundance. And so, yes, that doesn't negate the fact that we should act with strategy, with understanding that our ripples are going to go much further than we can ever understand. And so really just trying to have the foresight to extrapolate where those ripples are going to go, who are they going to affect, what kind of reputation that you're creating for yourself. And so really just having the ability to broaden the bandwidth of your mindset and phase in what is working. Have some trial and error. Yes, there might be certain errors that have blindsided your growth, that you have now become stunted in certain ways, but then again, you have to remember that everything is in your brain. Everything is in your mind. The world is the projection of what is going on in your mind. And so when you allow your mind the ability to just shake it off and move in a way that you are moving like water, that you are flowing with the errors, with the victories, and not giving too much credence to either side, really just allowing yourself the ability to be neutral. Because now nothing can blindside you, because now you are allowing the tumultuous ups and downs of life to really just be something that is observed. And as you unravel this kind of personality, that you're dispassionate about how you see the world, and nothing is correct, nothing is wrong. Of course, there's certain rights and wrongs that we should consider, but there is so much philosophy behind it. There's so much disagreement that is it even worth talking about? Because now it's a matter of where do you fall within society? Because I can say, oh yeah, really just look at the world and see how are you going to affect it on this broader level, because, you want to be a good person who is going to receive as well, and karma, whatever label you want to put on it, you do that. But there comes a point where we can't look at our external environment, and we just have to recognize that we are on this path, that we might be engaging in these self-destructive behaviors because we are trying to figure out what is right and what is wrong. There are only definitions that have been determined by humanity because of linguistics, because of words. And so when we can unravel the labyrinth of our mind and discover the truth that is within us that we have to share with the world, then we can help people heal. Because once you heal yourself, once you can move past that self-destructive nature that is embedded within, and you break through this imbalance, this fragmented self, and build this identity that now you have purpose. Now you are ready to give to society something that is beneficial, that is valuable and uninhibited. Now you can enjoy the process because you have just learned how to believe in yourself. And so when you begin to oscillate and look at this new framework of living, and yes, we want to say that we are here to build, that we are here to make money. Now the internet is all about business. And so, okay, great. But what about the self? What about the message that you came onto this planet with to deliver to the rest of society? What about that? Yes, we do need to engage in activities that are going to help us live in the world, and we need money, we need power, we need, certain types of friends, or, whatever it is you think you need. There are so many people who don't have anything. And what do they think they need? It's all about perception. And so when we are living in this first world and we think that we need clothes, we need movies, we need fancy gatherings with our girlfriends, we need to have the perfect picture for Instagram, or we need, what is this? What is this? And so we are all trying to make it in some way, but at the same time, when you can just be in the moment and look within and forget about your phone and really just gear your brain towards understanding what it is you want to give to people, what kind of service you want to give to people. Because now when you recognize that the world is in pain, the world is burning, and people are just trying their best to stay afloat, when you recognize the pain within society and you find different ways that you can help people heal, whether it is something small by maybe suggesting something that you see is a pain point in someone's life and exemplifying subtly through nuance that, oh yes, I can relate to that because, you know, I went through this and this is what helped me. Like, people, we have grown as a species because we have been able to do storytelling. We have really considerably evolved through the sharing of experiences, and now we can understand better how to take calculated risks and, you know, integrate certain types of trial and error within ourselves that doesn't necessarily disturb our circle of competence, our, you know, reputation, our loyalty towards others, our views within society. You know, we may have these skewed views that allow us to adhere to various rules within society. And so when we can acquiesce to the idea that no, we are not in this box, we are actually these uninhibited beings who we just came here to create. We literally came on this planet to create. And so yes, what are you going to create today? Are you going to create your business? Are you going to create some happiness? Are you going to create some art? What kind of mediums are you going to be using? What kind of expression are you going to be playing with? And so really just taking a step back, and of course we need those systems within our lives, within the world, and those systems create these organized structures that allow us to drop in our creativity and play and really just integrate all of this fragmentation into this cohesive whole. But I mean, sometimes it's difficult because we discount our power, and because so many people do this, we have now become a society where Instagram is very popular, that Instagram is a place, or whatever social media that you prefer, is now a place where we are releasing this monstrosity that is within ourselves. And now it's become all about peacocking, you know, showing off and really just trying to draw in attention, because now attention is the new way to monetize. And unfortunately, because this is the case, we have, I think, lost touch with the ability to really connect with others on a more genuine manner, especially on social media. Things are becoming more fake. We have all these ulterior motives and so on and so on. So there becomes this point of contention within our external worlds and our internet worlds, where we eventually are bringing the two together. And so when you have that variance where maybe you're a little bit more fake, a little bit more curated on your social media, and you're just more natural in the outside world, eventually there's going to be one that is either drawn closer to the other more quickly, or vice versa, or maybe they will just meet in the middle. But now this is how people are forming their personalities, and this is how the children of our society, they're modeling these perfect role models that we have on society. But there's a lot more mental health issues, because now maybe especially our younger kids, they don't understand that the world is, you know, kind of fake, and this is not how real life is. Real life is about imperfection. So, you know, when you eventually learn to find your leverage and draw from within, then yes, you build those resources that can negate these sorts of negative ideas that society has created for us. But in order to garner those kinds of those kinds of ideals, you not only need to have the strength within yourself, but society needs to move in a direction where we are considering the implications, the ramifications of our actions, not only for ourselves, but the generations that are coming later on. And so even with the growth of AI and basically allowing ourselves either to learn from AI and use it as a resource that will help us save time, or we might even end up allowing it to slow our brains down, controversially speaking, because I mean, you have to look at two sides of the coin. You know, when we didn't have our phones, when we didn't have maps, people had to remember the roads. They had to remember the directions. And so their brain is moving in this more complicated manner. It is using different neurons. And then now we have ChatGPT that does everything for us. So you have to wonder, is this going to happen? Some form of our brains becoming codependent on ChatGPT, on AI, that now we don't necessarily need to build the resources in our brain to have the ability to think in different types of ways? Are we going to become dependent on the robots? Or are we going to use them so that we can build our brains and really just become something greater? So it really just depends on how you're using the resources around you, how you're using your environment around you. So being aware is a very important thing. Now, it all takes this kamikaze commitment to yourself. Again, you need to be tenacious. You need to remember that you are worth it, that you cannot dismiss the ideas within your brain. Everything that is happening in your brain is something valuable that you need to understand. You don't need to justify yourself. You can just simply be the way that you are. People will accept you. You are not the endangered species, because you can only become that if you allow these insecurities to take over your brain. So just take a deep breath. And let go of the reluctance that is in your mind regarding your personality, regarding how you think you're putting yourself out there, and really just allowing yourself to become this unrelenting force that is unique. It's not just in the way that ChatGPT or whatever AI is training our brains to all think in a similar manner by giving us the same answers to certain questions that we might ask. Of course, we might ask in different ways, and it might give us slightly different variances of a similar answer. But what about the creativity of our brains? There needs to be some space that we take all of this external stimuli and we move in silence. We spend time away from our phones, away from our friends, away from the world, and we allow our brains to be the creative beings that they are meant to be. And they can only do that in stillness. And so when we don't balance the two, then there are problems. And we do need the world. We do need the stimuli to allow us to put together, to really just make something bigger than ourselves, but also, disseminating that into the world, because now we all each have these unique perspectives that we can bring to heal different people who will resonate with different things. And so when you liberate yourself, when you liberate your mind, and you desensitize yourself to the idea that Your words don't matter because they do matter. Your actions do matter. Whatever you are doing right now, it's perfect. There's no wrong. There's only being you, just as you are. And sometimes that's going to mean you're going to have days where things are just slow and not really as productive as you wanted them to be, or maybe you're going to have the best days of your life. But if you can label all of those days as the best days of your life, because every single new day is an opportunity to have the best day of your life. And so even if it's not, even if your brain is rejecting the idea, but just telling yourself that you are having the best day of your life, hey, you might not see it now, but in hindsight, maybe that could change things for you. And so slowly phasing out all those negative thought patterns and phasing in this positive stimuli, not only in your external, but your internal, you are going to change your life, and then you're going to change the world. And so don't forget it. You are entitled to greatness. We all are. And yeah, go make some magic. Lots of love and good vibes. Peace.